Hey guys, Troy Bentley with New Legend Books and Comics. I've been wanting to do this for a couple of weeks, and those of you who just saw me do a launch a video on Facebook, yes, this is the same night. Yes, I have the same clothes on. Different topic for that video, but just I want to do a real quick review on season 3 of Stranger Things. Um, I started to do one a few weeks ago after I watched the season, and I thought, I'll probably do some spoilers. So I want to give it a little longer. So those of you who haven't seen it yet, um, there will probably be a few spoilers in this little chat here. Those of you who have, I'd like to get your input on how the season went. Um, to start off with here, let you know, I have been a pretty big fan of the series. Despite a couple of the actors being, libtards, I really I like the series, and I think they've done a really good job of the show. And I mean, it's there are some political correctness and SJW nonsense in it, like there's everything else. But I think they keep it down to a minimum. So with that in mind, here we go. All right. Season 3 started off pretty well. You got to see some real growth from Eleven, who played by that Millie Bobby Brown, I think her name is. She showed the one thing I really like about this character is they really have shown growth in her in every season. So you kind of get her background and her um, first round of who she is in the first one. You get a little more in the second one, and then you get even more in the third one. And each season she becomes a little more. I don't like to use the word normal, but normal. Like she becomes, she's a science experiment in the first season. The second season, she's trying not to be a science experiment, and in the third one, she's trying to really learn how to be a normal kid. And she's definitely no longer somebody's lab rat, and she just wants to be a normal kid. So I thought that was some really good development with the character, and I just thought it was done really well. The other characters still did pretty good. Mike's kind of still the same Mike, though. There's not a ton of progression in their abilities to grow a little bit. The show is about them, but it's really not focused on them. So I don't expect there to be tons of growth there. Um, but there's not a ton. I mean, those guys are kind of playing the same characters in every season, but that's okay. Not every character has to, have a massive, character arch with every show. The show essentially is really about 11, so it's okay if she gets more development than everyone else, and she's really further behind the rest of them anyway, so it kind of makes sense that they would, give her way more development than, it's only in the timeline. It's only been a couple of years, so these guys aren't going to change that much over a couple of years. The main characters, whereas she is going to change dramatically because of who she was in the beginning of the series. Winona Ryder plays Joyce. She did a good job. Now, one will say this is one point of the show that really kind of irked me, and I thought it was unnecessary and pointless. It was kind of funny the first time they did it, but when they kept doing it over and over and over again, it got annoying and didn't really. It had served no purpose at all. And those of you who've seen it know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I would think anyway. If you haven't, the bit is that every time something doesn't go well for Hopper, Joyce has to step in and yell and scream and people and demand that they do what she wants, like listen to me, girl power, rah! That kind of thing. And it's just, except the first time she does it is kind of funny, but then the second, third, fourth, fifth, however many times they did it, it was just they just keep beating that dead horse throughout the entire season, and it got really old and really silly and pointless. But she did a great job. She's a very good actress. I think she's had some problems over the years, like most actors and actresses do. But she did a good job with it, so that was pretty good. David Harbour, who plays Jim Hopper, um, personally, from what I've seen about the guy, I think he's a typical activist Hollywood type. Um, but he does do a good job in the show, and his character comes across as a just a kind of a down to earth, very typical dad kind of thing. Who very protective of especially Eleven, but everyone else too. And in this season they let it be known that Jim's kind of sweet on Joyce, and Joyce probably sweet on him too. Although it doesn't really, you don't get any closure for that this season, or any goes on any further than that. But it was pretty good. So he did a good job. Like I said, the kids did a good job. The one thing I didn't like about with the kids is that I thought they split them all up too much. And I think that's going to get, if they continue to do that, it's going to get harder to keep up with the story. Uh, the story was pretty good. I mean, you had the same villain as has been in the other two, but the villain is shown in a different light this time, and it's really a more physical. Whereas the first two seasons, it was kind of a spirit villain, and he was attacking them through like psychic kind of means almost. Whereas this time he's physically there, and it's a physical villain. And it's a completely different fight than it was in the other ones. So it was good. The villain, I think it was a good twist on the villain, and I don't know if they'll bring that villain back again. I kind of hope not. I think they kind of let that thing ride away, and bring in something different would be nice. See. They did bring in one new character this year. I kind of expected, well, a couple. They brought in the Russian character, which he was around, but he's not. He's really only there like hardcore for a couple of episodes, I think. But the new girl they bring in, they make it. Once again, you got to go. They got to throw something PC in there, so they make it look like she's going to be a love interest for one of the other characters, and for Steve, and then she turns out to be gay. So, big shocker there, but that's what they did. I didn't see the point to her character other than, hey, let's throw in a gay character. She and on top of that, she just made the boys around her look like idiots. I mean, that's she's a typical everything people don't like about these SJW characters now in television and movies. She really she knows everything. She's tougher than all the boys. She's smarter. She's this. She's that. Yada 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 yada. It gets old after, like I said, after a little bit. It gets really old, and you're like, okay, just let the monster eat her or something. I'm tired of looking at her. She was likable enough most of the time, but the whole, I'm a better boy than you are, stuff. I've got the same complaint about a show I'm watching now called Yellowstone. I'll do a video about that one when I'm doing it. The season's over, but they've got the same thing going on there. It's really annoying. So, but I thought the season ended well. Those of you who don't know, this is a huge spoiler, so you might want to stop now if you don't want to know. But they pause for you to quit. Okay, you had time. So it appears that Hopper dies, but then in the very end, they talk about the American in in a Russian prison. I'm going to say that's probably Hopper. I can't imagine them continuing on with the show without Hopper. That would be a huge, huge mistake, I think, because the character is, even though the guy who plays him in real life doesn't seem very likable in real life. The character is extremely likable, and he gives a nice, a dad element to it, where Joyce is the mom element, Harper is the dad element, and I think to take that away would be a huge mistake. But who knows? You never know what these people in Hollywood are going to do. So we'll see. But overall, I'd give it probably an 8 out of 10 for the year. I thought it was done well, but there were some things I didn't care for, mainly because it's the world we live in now with Hollywood. Is everything has to be PC and everything has to be political, and so they had to get in a few things that was political. And like I said, there's a couple other shows that same stuff going on that I think they're, if you're not careful, it really ruins the show. And I think they're at the point now with this show that if they come back with a ton of it next season, it's probably going to ruin it. But so far so good. We'll see how it goes. But that's my 2 cents worth. I thought it was a decent season. But let me know what you guys think. So I'd love to hear from some of you. And I'm trying to get more videos put up. I've just been really busy and hadn't had time to do a lot of them. But I've got some new software now, and I'm going to be doing some more reviews on some other stuff, and so we'll see how it goes. All right, I'll get some more videos up as soon as possible. Please remember to like and subscribe, and share our videos with everybody you can. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. God bless. Bye.